welcome. And first of all, thank you for tuning in and being with us today. My name is Noland Henson, and you're getting ready for an exciting broadcast. We're talking about Kenya with Love. Kenya with Love is a program that we've been doing now for 17 years. We've been going to the motherland there in East Africa, and it's been truly a blessing. So you're going to be informed, you're going to be a little bit entertained, but most of all, you're going to be joining us in this experience, as we are going to give you some video straight from Africa on our 2019 trip. Oftentimes, Africa is referred to as the motherland. I love it, and I thank God for the opportunity to have been there. So let me give you a genesis about Kenya with Love. Kenya with Love began 17 years ago. We allowed a group of missionaries, a mother and son, was running a program there in Africa to help feed school children, orphans going to school, to give them beans and rice and to give them a meal. They were going to school hungry. And whenever I tell this story and whenever I talk about this, I always have to say, to my shame and to my chagrin, I was a senior pastor at that time, New Life Church, Joyce Lane in Arnold, Maryland. And I allowed some missionaries to do a presentation. And they talked about giving school kids beans and rice. There was a lot of orphans in their village because of AIDS. AIDS had wiped out almost a whole generation. So there were a lot of grandparents raising kids, and poverty in the third world countries even affect your ability to feed the kids. So I allowed them to do the presentation. And as they were doing the presentation, I was not moved. I was totally not moved by the presentation. And now remind you, they're talking about feeding school kids beans and rice, just a meager meal to sustain them as they went to school, because they weren't able to pay attention. They were hungry, not having lunch, not having dinner. Many of them was just getting what's called a cup of porridge. And that's just a milk-like substance with a little bit of grain meal in it. And that was their meal for that day. But one member of my church, a lady named Belinda Winbush, was moved by the presentation. And she said, "Pastor, we must help these people." I said to her, "Belinda, if we're going to help them, you will be the lead of it." And that was the genesis right there, about 2000, in the year of 2000, when we begun. And she would catch us who were of means, and she would catch us in the lobby of the church, and she would collect donations for Kenya with Love. Well, one was the day that Belinda came and she says, "Pastor, I'm resigning, I'm moving on, I'm going to be going to another church." So at that time, we had a decision to make. What would we do with this program? What would we do with what she was doing with Kenya with Love? Or she called it the Kenya Club at that time. So we made a decision that we would make it an official entity of the church. And we went to our board, our church board, and they said yes. So we would stand on Sunday mornings and we would collect an offering for the Kenya missions. And one was the day that my wife said, "Nolan, you must go to Africa." I always have an aha moment when I think about that. She says, "You must go to Africa to see where our money is being spent. Is it really being spent on what we think it is?" And I was like, "Africa, who? me, and she was, yeah, you need to go to Africa. So I made up my mind I would go to Africa and see where the money was being spent. When we first landed in Kenya, East Africa, one of my brothers from my church, John James, I'm always grateful for that, accompanied me on that first trip. And 2004 was the first time we landed. When we got there and we went to our downtown hotel, the city of Nairobi is like a major city. It's like Baltimore, but only 20 years behind per se in some things, but it's a large city. And this experience, what I'm about to share, gripped my world and who I am today and made me dedicated to do what I'm doing. For the first time in my life, because I'm from America, I saw street kids. Street kids were everywhere on that 2004 trip. The group of about 9 of them sleeping outside of our downtown hotel. One girl looked to be about maybe 3 years old. The leader of the group looked to be maybe 12 years old, and it was about 9 kids. And it was heart-wrenching. I had never seen street children. I had never seen it in all of my life, and many of Americans have never seen it. And so we went on out to the village because we was there. We landed in Nairobi, the major city. Then we were to drive out to the village. So we go out to the village, and it's a little bit nervousness in the air. They know why I am there. They understand that this is a pastor from America whose church is helping to support them and to buy the food that they need to feed the kids. So it was a bit of anxiousness. They understood that if I liked what I seen, that I would continue to help. If I did not like what I see, then the program would be over for as far as my participation. Well, when I got there to the village and I saw what they were doing with our meager means that we were sending, not only was I moved by what I seen, I made it my life work to help. One of the first things I did when we got back to America was triple what we were sending. But one of the trips there, Mother Cahew, who was running the project for her son, as Patrick and Rebecca was here students in America. Mother Cahew said to me after about the 4th trip going, she says, Pastor Henson, you see that chicken coop over there? A large church from America built that. She said, you see the new well over there? Another large church from America built that. She said, you see the brand new kitchen that we have? Another church from America built that. I said, yes. But then she said something that gripped my whole world. She said, but Pastor Henson, it is the money that you send every month is why I know these kids will have beans and rice. And I was moved beyond explanation. Understanding what it's like in a third world country. So we're going to show you a short video of some of the things that we're doing, and then we're going to come right back and speak to you more about the mission. All right, Mark, I'm going to do a 5 count. Okay. And then we'll move to the next segment. You hear me okay, right? I hear you good. Okay. And then this gives a little bit of time for the, this also gives a little bit of time for the video. So this is perfect. So it'll be this time, gap filling. Then when I start I'm going to do 2 5 counts. Well, it won't really matter because this gives a little bit of time for the video. Okay, so now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, I hope you enjoyed that quick video we just showed you about the missions work in Kenya, East Africa. Again, every year in February, I go on this trip. And people always ask me, they say, is it too late for me to go? Even now in February, I've actually put people on that plane. I go the second week of February. I've actually put people on that plane and gotten them tickets the first week of February. But the sooner you sign up, the better it is. Normally it costs about $3,300 to do the trip. And oh my, what a trip too. Also, let me say this about the trip while I'm talking about the missions trip. We do a variety of things when you're in country. When we hit the ground running. The experience of being in Africa and being on that missions trip, I will tell you this about it. I guarantee you that I don't care where you've been, there's still going to be nothing like that you've seen. Your experience meter will be off the chart. But one of the things I really love about when we go the second week of February every year. Some people call me and ask me, Pastor Henson or Noland, are you still going? I say, you don't even have to ask me. Unless something catastrophic happened, I'm going second week of February. One of the things I love about that is the weather. In Kenya, East Africa, on the second week of February, every year, it's beautiful weather. Kenya is at the equator. So when we land, it's 70 to 80 degrees, about 85 some days, right at the center of the equator. One year when we had here in Maryland, I don't know what year was that. What was that, about 2010 or 2010 or 11. We had what we call Snowmageddon. When we had that big snowstorm, well, 15 of us got out and we left. When we got back, it was over with. And what even a testimony that is, the morning of the flight, we were scheduled, 15 people were scheduled to go to Africa, and we were socked down in snow. And I had started in August booking the tickets. And when I started booking with the agent, I told her, I said, I want to fly out of BWI. So I had worked with Elaine from Pilgrim Tours, a little plug for her. She's awesome. I've worked with her for years doing this trip. So I say, I want to fly out of BWI this year, Elaine. It's a lot closer to us here in the Baltimore, Annapolis, Maryland area than Dulles is. She says, okay, Pastor Henson. So she called back, maybe, I don't know, mid-September, saying, okay, we're working on your itinerary. Everything's looking good. I said, okay, don't forget, I want to fly out of BWI. She says, okay, fine. Call back again, maybe end of December. She says, okay, I got you totally booked. I got all 15 of you guys on the flight, got you good price. You're going to fly into London, then down to Nairobi. I said, okay, Elaine, great. But she said, I got you booked out of Dulles. I said, Elaine, I told you I wanted to fly. She said, I know, Pastor Henson, but I know you want good seats. I know you good. You know, everything has to be affordable for you guys. So I booked you out of Dulles. I said, okay, fine, Elaine. So the morning of the trip came, second week of February, and BWI snowed in, shut down. Reagan National snowed in, shut down. 30% of the flights going out of Dulles Airport was canceled. A major hangar fell in. 70% of the flights were flying. And we were on that British Airways to London flying, thanks to Elaine, who booked us out of Dulles. So that's one of the exciting things. I have many things about the trip that are exciting. Please come and join us as we will be doing great things every year. Again, one of the things, too, that we do, we work in Kibera. Kibera is the second largest slum in the world. And thanks to Pastor Amos and his school there with Celine, his wife, we're able to get in and help and be a part of what's going on. I'll tell you more about that in a moment. But one of the other things we do too, we go on safari. I mean, this is a big, big safari. In fact, National Geographic's rated safari in Masai Mara, Kenya, East Africa, as one of the 10 most exciting vacation spots. So we go from working in the slums, then we fly out and land in a beautiful, beautiful national forest called Masai Mara in Kenya, East Africa. Look it up. We see full-grown male lions 15 feet outside of our vehicle. So it's just awesome. We sleep in a lodge that is beautiful, overnight accommodations. So that's one part of the trip that we do, along with working with so many people. Now, let me tell you, when we come back, I'm going to tell you about an exciting part that I love, some of the actual ministry work that we do. Let me tell you about one of the places that we work. We work with 10 different organizations there, grassroots organizations. These are pastors mostly that have started different works to be able to help. Let me tell you about one, and then I'll tell you why it's so important. We work with Samuel Owini in one of the slums. This particular one is called Soweto, and he works in a community there in Soweto, and this is in Nairobi, large city of Nairobi. There's a place called Kayole. But what he does is he has both a orphanage, a school, and he runs what we would call a foster care program. But every year when I come, I ask in advance, Samuel, what is the need? Each year he would say something different. One year he would say it's mattresses. So one year myself and my team brought mattresses for the whole entire orphanage. Different years he would say different things. You're going to see a video right now in a few minutes here. You're going to see a video about the blankets and stuff that we bought. So get ready for this video. The blankets and everything that was needed we brought there in Kenya, East Africa. What I do is I use money. I don't try to take things. It costs too much to ship. But I take the money, and in the case of Owini, I meet the need when I'm on the ground. Of the organizations that we work with, many of them, I will say, what is the need? And they will say, this is the need this year. They know in February when me and my team come, we don't come as tourists. We come to assist them, to be able to help them make it. They depend on donors like myself and different organizations that help them. In fact, Samuel Owini has 2 different sponsors that he has met through us, through our organization of bringing people. One, Matthew Evans and his wife Blanche, who's out of Columbia, Maryland. Also, Jeremy and Kim Smith are major donators to this place. But when we come, we meet a need. So he has 58 orphans that live at his center. He has another 28 children that he provides sustenance, food, and clothing that lives out in the greater community. And they provide what the family needs to take care of these children. But the 58 orphans living at his school, this year I said, Pastor, what's the need? He says, blankets, pillows, and sheets, in his Samuel Owini voice. So we go to the market and we purchase these blankets, pillows, and sheets, and we take them to the orphanage. This is what we do. Watch this. Then there is the ministry that I love. I think I will use my last few minutes talking about this particular need. Every year when I'm at the pastors' conference, We do a pastor's conference there in Nairobi. We use one day of our time because my main focus is humanitarian need, and I have 9 other organizations to help and assist with. But each year, one of the pastors would say, "Pastor, come, please, come and see my high school." He had started a high school in Githurai, and I said, "I don't have time right now, but next year I'll make time." So the following year I came, I think that was 2018, me and Janelle Price, on the last day of our trip, we visited his high school there in Githurai, and my heart was gripped. It's about 60, 70 some children, and I just felt so much compassion. High school, but they had no technology. Imagine a dirt courtyard, homemade benches and desks. They were studying their materials, meager books. Some were even homemade books. This is a high school, 60, 70 some children. And they were doing what they could. Now, they were teaching them because in Kenya, the public schools are not good at all. And this pastor had started the high school to be able to help people after they come from their junior high, or it's all in one over there, but the high school, you go on to high school. So I was gripped. I said, there's nothing I can do right now on that last day of the 2018 trip. But I vowed, I said, I'm going to help. When I come again, I'm going to help. And so when I returned in 2019, we came in, just me and my organization, Kenya with Love. And who was actually with me? Oh, Lenita Hill had flew up from Johannesburg, South Africa. And also Evans had flew up from Johannesburg, South Africa. 2 good missionary friends. You'll hear about them much later. But anyway, me and Lenita Hill took our time and we visit. I had 4 laptops, Dell, state-of-the-art laptops with Microsoft Word, with Excel, with Publisher, with PowerPoint for these kids to learn. And we set up classes for them. Also, we purchased the Wi-Fi Also, we purchased the Wi-Fi equipment so that they would have Wi-Fi to use with these laptops. So we were able to give them the state-of-the-art laptops, 4 of them, the Wi-Fi, and each month we pay the bill for the Wi-Fi. Next year when I go back, I want to do even more on my 2020 trip. That's why we say we take what we have, do what we can, and then we look for ways to do more and better. Please enjoy this video, and thank you. So we thank you for tuning in to Kenya with Love. I'm Noland Henson. Our organization, you'll see the website and all and how to donate. Contact me anytime. Look up Reverend Henson on Facebook. Also, check us out on YouTube, some nice videos about what we're doing out there. It's been a pleasure to be with you in this session. I look forward to visiting you next week as you tune in to Kenya with Love.